United for Kids Foundation. Saving Nigeria. And indeed the world. One child, one heart, and one smile at it. Some situations have made us smile.
I won a scholarship. You win what? Do you remember the exam we did on February? Hey.
Tí mo rí ní airport báyìí mo kúnlẹ̀ mo so mọ̀ nípa Ọlọ́run máa ṣe o tó ká tó gbé kúrò Ìkẹjà.
But I thank you God, I thank you UKF, I thank you Nigeria.
And we have also had success cases.
Very, very tough for us. But when this scholarship came, I was like over the moon that God has remembered.
I'm happy that the Father's Day scholarship is out, and I'm so happy that I'm in Township High School now.
My name is Pupo Sitolua. I'm in GSS 1. The name of my school is Township High School, and I'm so happy to be here.
We still have hundreds and thousands of cases untouched. But with your help, we can surely heal Nigeria and indeed the world. One child, one heart, and one smile at a time.
See the faces of the children. See how much they long to smile. Some have forgotten how to be happy. Others lost their childhood away too soon. But you and I can make the difference. You and I can make the change. Heal your world, take away this pain. Heal your world, one child, one heart at a time. Take the pain away.
Reach out your hand, show that you can do that. Let's take the world a better place. One child at a time. Reach out your hand, show that you can do that. Let's take the world a better place. One child at a time. Reach out your hand, show that you can do that. Let's take the world a better place. One child at a time. Reach out your hand.
Charity organizations and its practice dates back as early as the 18th century, when Captain Thomas Coram was appalled by the number of abandoned children living on the streets of London. He then set up the Foundling Hospital in 1741 to look after unwanted orphans. This was the first such charity in the world and served as the precedent for incorporated associational charities everywhere. The United for Kids Foundation is one of such notable organizations in the 21st century, which recognizes the importance of charity and is driven by the same passion to reach out to as many lives as possible.
UKF started when a group of like-minded professionals, people who had a strong work ethic and had a strong belief system, came together for the benefit of the less privileged children in our society. So it just started from gathering stuff together, festive period, when children who don't have any strong support, family or anything, need people to look out for them, and that's how it started. We just got things together, and eventually in 2002 we became an incorporated trustee, registered at the CAC, and it's just grown from there.
To save Nigeria and indeed the world, one child, one heart, and one smile at a time.
The foundation was set up exclusively to provide charity service. a charitable organization that assists children from less privileged homes, from disadvantaged neighborhoods with educational and medical services.
Connecting the less privileged child, the child from the disadvantaged, and the sick child, and linking them with the middle class, high net worth individual or corporate entity who wants to help.
Well, our primary area of focus is education, because we don't believe that people can make it without education. So we seek to put about 80% of our resources in education. So we do back to school, we do the library project like we're doing right now, the summer camp. Besides education, we also do social welfare, Eid parties at the orphanages, Christmas parties at the orphanages as well. Every month we have a Sakriyan book club at orphanages, and we also sponsor children whose families are unable to afford food. And we also do a little bit in the area of healthcare. Every third Saturday of the month, our people are at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital to distribute care packages to kids and their families who are poor and sick. And from there, those who are not able to afford their treatment, we are able to help them to pay for surgeries, medicine, and things like that. So I would basically say education is our main area, social welfare and healthcare are secondary areas.
According to the United Nations report on the Millennium Developmental Goals for 2014, about 1 in 5 persons in developing regions live on less than $1.25 per day. About 173 million fewer people worldwide suffered from chronic hunger between 2011 and 2013. More than 1 in 4 children in developing regions entering primary school is likely to drop out. For many years, the statistics of children and families seeking for support have been on the rise. United for Kids Foundation is committed to creating long-term and sustainable solutions to direct problems facing children from socially and economically disadvantaged backgrounds.
My name is Okafor Chinenye. I'm in primary 1. I'm 7 years old. My school is Ojoju Primary School. When I grow, I want to be a banker.
7-year-old Chinenye Okafor was identified with an absurd navel growth that needed swift medical attention.
I am Mr. Raymond Okafor, the father of Chinenye Okafor. I'm doing Okada work. That's where I'm seeing my daily basis.
I met Chinenye Okafor through the headmaster of Ojoju Primary School 1. And he brought her to the library and then told her to he showed me her novel, and I was shocked. And then so I collected her dad's phone number.
I was my pleased. I hear the phone ringing. So with the phone ringing, they asked me, am I the father of Chinenye? I said yes. They asked me to come to the school.
A child who comes to our library and who came to the library one day and came with a belly button that was as swollen as, almost my arm. And she had been carrying this around for six years. And we tried to contact the parents, and the parents said, there's nothing we can do. This child, they said we should bring money and we don't have it. And eventually, what did we do? We put the story on social media, and within 3 days we raised $1 million. Thankfully, we met a doctor, Dr. Madarikon, in a private hospital, and then so he was the one that conducted the surgery.
UKF got me, and they appeared towards the end of March with a little girl, and I said, well, it can be done.
Dr. Madarikon said it's hernia, but a little overgrown, and he said the way it was, if they didn't do anything about it, by the time she's 10, the stuff would have grown longer than her knee.
The operation was eminent to save her life, and United for Kids Foundation needed to put a smile on her face again.
Well, I thank God for everything. I thank UKF for what they have done to me. I don't believe that I can see such help in this life.
Chinenye's case wasn't the only one looked into by Dr. Madarikon.
My name is Godwin Wachuku. I am 12 years old. I am in primary 5. The name of my school is Ojoju Primary School 1. I want to be a banker in future.
I look this boy, something come out for the neck. Then I asked him, what happened to your neck? He said, he don't know. Did you fight? He said, no. You carry something? He said, no. You fed and no.
That boy was 11 years old. It was interesting because he came with this lump in his neck. And my first question to them was, does he have a cough? Does the child have TB? They'd done a chest x-ray, which was normal. They'd even done skin testing for tuberculin, which is Mantoux test. That was negative on 3 occasions. So one felt quite confident this was not tuberculosis. The next question, is this some sort of lymph node tumor, like a lymphoma? That really was my concern. I took the lump out and I was happy when I got the result because it was just chronic inflammation.
It is God who bless them. And who pay them. And then still they help me up today.
The health sector is one core area of focus for the United for Kids Foundation organization. The annual expenses of the United for Kids Foundation on health-related cases is over ₦1 million on patient assistance in surgery, well over 500,000 naira on prescription of medication, and over 1.5 million naira on care packages on treatment relief programs for sick and admitted children at various medical units with the hope of reaching out to more lives. The United for Kids Foundation is conscious of the psychological impact of poor and orphan children and strive to extend the much-needed love to them. Institutions who have benefited from their immense support include Lagos Motherless Babies Home, the Children Transit Home, Heart of Gold Children Hospice, and Babs S. Salem Orphanage, just to mention a few.
I think that sponsorship funding is really the main area where we need help, because like I said, things happen. The number of poor people seem to be increasing. People are giving, but not as fast as we want, not as much as we want, not as much as we need. So really that's an area that is very challenging. We always need sponsorship.
From littlest of giving clothes and pencils and things to, and even the givers. So again, on one hand, it seems like, okay, what we do really impacts the kids that we're helping and their families. But even the givers who feel kind of liberated or feel like I have a channel or an avenue to do good work, even if it's just my money going or me volunteering my time, having that opportunity to, like some organizations will send their staff and say, you know what, let them join you when they give out the bags. It's just that avenue for people to make a difference.
In the words of Albert Pike, what we have done for ourselves alone dies with us. What we have done for others and the world remains and is immortal. United for Kids Foundation is driven with the desire to help individuals, institutions, and even families subdue their daily fears, also address their frustrating inadequacies and ever-compounding insufficiencies the best way they can. Some lives have been touched, and many more lives can still be reached.
This year it's been tough for us because we have 2 cancer patients that are not likely to make it through. And it's all about government bureaucracy, doctors having too much to do than to care for one more child, parents not having enough to take care of their kids. As little as 10,000 naira may mean life and death for a child in most cases, and that's what we've been battling.
The Support a Child program is a new initiative of the United for Kids Foundation, and the program looks into unique cases that require sustainable support. Endurance and Christian Asukwa lost their father a while ago. They both live with their grandparents here in Lagos. Feeding has been quite difficult for their family, and the state of their home is a very appalling one.
An Nigerian told me their mom is in the village, so they stay near a canal. The most times when I give her something, she used to share it with her brother.
The Onwachuku family is another beneficiary of the huge support given by the United for Kids Foundation. Her husband passed on suddenly due to a bike collision, and survival has been very difficult ever since.
I realized that her husband passed on early last year, and then she was sent out of her house, and then so she had to move to a little shop by the road because she's a tailor, and she has herself and her 2 kids, Godwin and his younger sister Divine. They were living there, and it's been very difficult for them. He has to trek every morning to school on an empty stomach. So UKF got her an apartment. The SAC program, Support a Child program, we've been giving her food every month.
UKF were able to relocate the family. They were apparently living in some very squalid conditions somewhere on the edges of a market. And it was just chronic infection that was causing this.
Where I'm living, I'm inside the erosion, inside swamp. They take me up there, look for us, and keep me here for today. Still give me the food to be training these my children.
United for Kids Foundation not only reaches out to specific families and individuals with unique cases, but also to the general public collectively as a means to touch more lives directly or indirectly. The United for Kids Foundation Summer Camp is one of such programs organized yearly to help achieve this.
The first person to raise it up to your chest. The first person to raise it up to your chest. Yes. Like that. Simple that.
The first to get to the chest.
No, you don't cock it. You don't cock it. Leave it straight.
The children from disadvantaged and low-income backgrounds are come together and impacted positively, physically, emotionally, and psychologically.
The summer camp, this is particularly for the primary 6 students going into the GS classes, and for us it's about helping them to look forward to a change that they might otherwise be scared of.
Financial commitment on the summer camp project runs in excess of 1.5 million naira for 100 children, with the figures on the rise. And through this annual summer camp programs, these children embark on excursions to various places that they never thought they would have ever visited in their lifetime.
The purpose of the excursion is to expose the kids to a larger world than they are used to.
They never even thought that they could experience this kind of thing before in their lives. Thank UKF. They are really happy. Aren't you happy, kids?
It is still top of the morning on Top Radio 90.9. Now we just listened to that song there by Praise for You featuring Sheyi Shey. Okay, so who do you have next? I think I have...
My name is Augustine Francis.
Francis, alright. So what's the name of your own school?
Adebure Primary School.
Same school. Alright, so which one do you enjoy doing?
I enjoy watching all these movies.
Oh, you like the films, the film shows?
Yes.
Alright, so which one has been the most interesting one?
Maleficent movies.
Oh, Maleficent. Yes. Really? Is that the new one, the new movie?
Yes.
You guys have, even I have not seen Maleficent.
These are probably places that you visit on regular basis and might not even mean much to you, but they sure mean paradise to these children.
You have current, savings, and credit card. What kind of account is it?
I love the children so much. I love seeing their faces. I love seeing them.
Recently, these children were made to visit banks, museums, cinemas, and other interesting places.
I enjoyed the movie so much. I really liked it, and I learned that you should be good in everything that
I learned that we should not be mean to each other, and we should not be harsh to each other.
My name is Bana Mohammed. I'm from Federal CSC Primary School. I'm 13 years old. I want to be footballer in my future.
My name is Mohammed Iya. I am from Kurama Nursery Primary School. I am 12 years. I would like to be a musician.
My name is Olukoya John. I'm from Archbishop Taylor Memorial Nursery and Primary School. I am 13 years old. I want to become a president.
One other aspect United for Kids Foundation also looks into is the area of education. Just last year, Olamide Ologun was a huge beneficiary of a scholarship program through United for Kids Foundation to study at Day Waterman College. This year, 6 different students also got scholarship to Tuashi High School. Malik Abdulrazak, Onye Eke, Ugochukwu Agu, Michael Okpara, Tomiwa Pimponsu, and Funke Anifowoshe all got scholarship rewards of over 600,000 naira annually each. A feat these students and their family members never saw coming in their lifetime.
My name is Anifowoshe Funke. I'm just as one. I'm so happy to be in Tuashi High School.
When I had scholarship, I knew that it's all through his secondary education. I was very, very happy and happy with UKF. The amount for each child and the kind of school they were posted, very expensive, school. So I was just happy.
When she told me that she's going for exam, that she was going for scholarship exam, in my own mind, about to discourage her not to go. But no, my daughter is common that she's so stubborn. She now said, either I like it or not, she's going. So when she now come back, now said, Mommy, I said, but I've told you not to go to this thing. You know my position, I don't have money.
2006, I think, UNESCO released a report and they said education is free in Nigeria, primary education is free, but many parents don't send their children to school in Nigeria because they cannot afford to buy, books, they cannot afford to buy uniforms, they cannot afford to buy the things that the kids need. And we came to the schools and we saw this was real. You see a child will be in the school for an entire term, they have no notebooks, they have no pencils, they have no crayons. This is the story of public schools here.
I am the English teacher, CRK and literature teacher of the school. I will call them my student now because they're my student. It's been good. A lot of improvement taking place. Basically, when they first of all came in, things weren't so smooth as it is now, but they are picking up gradually.
We should give kudos to United Kids Foundation because they help the indigent children, and if not for them, who knows what would have been the fate of those children. The action is highly commendable. They invested so much. I mean, this is a private school, and they invested so much in the children. And so far, so good. They have not been found volunteer. It's now left for the parents, I mean for the children too, to play their own part, such that the efforts of the sponsors will not be a waste.
We asked you to write an essay on what you want to be in future. So we are going to call 5 of you to talk about what you want to be in future.
These children were identified through the library programs organized by United for Kids Foundation in various schools. United for Kids Foundation has built state-of-the-art libraries that cost well over 28 million naira in total. Each library costs 9 million naira to set up, including the structure, books, salaries, and other library activities. A total of 4 libraries presently serve 9 schools with a total population of 6,500 children, and more still needed to be built. Just when you think that you've done more than enough, the biggest and the most financially demanding program of the United for Kids Foundation has to be the annual Back to School program.
Okay? And what we do is that we try and help people who are in school. So like now you resume school, I want to give you school bags, school supplies inside. I want everyone to be responsible for their bags. And more importantly, you're going to use it to pass your exams. Is that okay? Yes. So should we take them back? Should we take them back? No. Okay, so we should share it? Yes. Everybody's going to be responsible.
And when we first started, we didn't even have rucksacks. We had those almost like kitchen bags, not paper bags, but those bags that people just sew and put together, and the smile on these kids' faces, or pencil erasers, exercise, things that you really take for granted.
This year we'll be doing 15,000 children, and it's expensive. It costs us 2,000 naira to buy a pack for each child. So if we're doing 15,000 children this year, we're looking for 30 million naira. this is why we're here, begging everybody to, to do something, because these kids expect it. Now they kind of rely on us, that we're going to bring the notebooks, and we're going to bring the things they're going to use in school. The backpack has got pencils, crayons, erasers, notebooks, math sets, everything they need to be in school.
In 2014, about 24 million naira was committed to this program. The number of children has increased to 15,000 in 2014 from 500 children in 2009. Institutions have also increased to 33 schools and 5 orphanages in 2014 from just 3 schools in 2010.
Biggest challenge is really there's that whole, you guys are an NGO, okay, because there have been certain NGOs who haven't had good reputation or have done stuff with people's money, so there's that whole, okay, we're giving you your money and you're doing what with it.
Funding is a major constraint to our activities. Donor fatigue, people who have supported us over the years, after some years they drop out, and it's difficult to get them back and renew. The spaces where they have left. We also have volunteering issue. We don't have enough volunteers to carry out our programs.
There are so many schools calling us to come to them, to come and build libraries, come and share back to school packs with them. There are so many kids that are in need of health care. There are so many kids that we want to really put smiles on their faces. There are kids that we are putting into secondary schools now because they are outstandingly brilliant, and we want to sponsor their education in a better environment. But we know that we can't stop. We can't stop dreaming, not for those kids. They are our future.
Since inception of 2002, United for Kids Foundation's annual financial commitment has been on the rise, hitting over 35 million naira in 2014, with a projected rise to about 50 million naira for 2015 and more in the coming years.
We've been around for 12 years, and the only thing that is constant is change. So we have big plans for expansion. One of the areas that we want to go into is a UKF Ventures program. We want to be able to sustain this program without going to people's offices and begging them for money all the time. And we also want to do this by putting to work some of the mothers of these children who are stuck in some sort of poverty cycle. So we're thinking of starting a UKF Ventures program where we're manufacturing something, or we're selling, we're trading, and that trade is helping us to pay salaries to some of these women who don't have any jobs, at the same time funding some of our library programs and things like that. But to start that kind of program, we need a lot of money. So we're looking to talk to companies, organizations to give us the initial capital to start a trading company, and then use the proceeds to sustain the foundation.
We want to go global. Currently we are operating in Lagos State. I want to touch every state of the Federation. We should be able to have a signature CSR project in a school, at least one school in every state. We are here for the long term, and with the support of our donors and active participants of everybody, our volunteers, our staff, we want to remain very dominant in what we are doing, the areas we have chosen, which are education, social and healthcare, and generally be an organization that is reckoned with for a long time to come.
Supporting United for Kids Foundation isn't financially inclined alone. It's all about giving time, energy, and money to achieve the one big objective of saving a child and indeed the world, one heart and one smile at a time.
I think the way forward is for people to see organizations like UKF as part of their responsibility. There's something in Nigeria, I think we're very generous people in Nigeria, but we don't have that culture of reaching out outside of our family, of reaching out outside of our own network, and we have to begin to do that. My own advice to people is that if somebody is suffering somewhere, we're all suffering, because these are the kids that our kids are going to grow up with, and they're going to have a problem if these kids are not taken care of. So I think the way forward is for people to come into the libraries primarily, or come with us on the hospital visits and really see what is happening. It's very surprising to me that I would have to come from America and tell people what is happening in the school that is just down the street from them. Tell them, the kids don't speak English, and they are in their towers, in their offices, and they don't know this. This is something that is mind-boggling, and I think we need to come out more.
In fact, I was impressed because This is a low admin cost organization, which is always good for an NGO, because a lot of NGOs take 30-40% of the money into admin costs. So they were utilizing the money of the donors properly. They were not taking into unnecessary admin.
There are up to 300 individual donors and volunteers and about 10 consistent corporate partners, and we would like to add you to that number. The survival of many children, the future of many pupils and students, and the sustenance of many families are tied to United for Kids Foundation. They have come this far, and there is no turning back now.
We are United for Kids Foundation, and we need your support.
For donations and support towards the United for Kids Foundation, please visit www.unitedforkidsfoundation.org.
One smile, one child, heal your world, one heart, one smile.